when you're a top draft pick, you get drafted to one of the worst teams. So not saying that we are the worst team, but I'm just saying it's going to be take time for us to get better and be patient. I want the fans to just be patient with us. It's going to take time. We're trying to get better every day and give us some grace.
What occurs if a purported franchise player sets fire to her own locker room during a single interview? When does the athlete who was hailed by your front office as the future make headlines for all the wrong reasons? The entire league is buzzing like a broken stadium speaker as a result of what just transpired with Angel Reese. This whistle isn't merely a random one. This franchise is having trouble, a separate locker room, disrespect for legends, a front office that gave up tomorrow only to be held accountable today. This slow-motion vehicle crash shows a team attempting to give the keys to a celebrity who has never been taught how to drive in traffic. Caitlinclark, meanwhile, is out here in Indiana using perseverance, professionalism, and receipts to create a genuine program. Let me start by taking you directly to the event that completely rocked Chicago.
I'll look back in 20 years and be like, yeah, the reason why we watching women's basketball is not just because of one person, it's because of me too, and I want y'all to realize that. It's not just because of one person. A lot of us have done so much for this game, and Kennedy has been here before, obviously, but there are so many great players in this league that have deserved this for a really, really long time, and luckily, it's coming.
I want the best of the best, so stop bringing in these players. Reese made that statement to reporters, and it was not a subtle one at all. She was able to convey that the present squad was beneath her in a single sentence by calling her teammates disposable. She maintained that she was sick of losing, sick of being embarrassed all the time, and sick of constantly looking at the standings. Her answer was straightforward enough: bring in stars or she's gone. It was delivered more like a demand than a show of leadership. Here's the actual issue, though. That is entitlement wrapped in neon lights. It is not leadership. True leaders bring people together, take responsibility, own up to their mistakes, and then go repair the problem. Reese essentially told her Skyfront team to replace these players or lose her, skipping every stage of that procedure and going straight to public humiliation. Imagine waking up as a rookie battling for 10 minutes of playing time and hearing your team's spokesperson declare that you don't belong next to her. That is culture destruction in the open, not culture building. The consequences within the Sky locker room were swift and unpleasant. Every player reportedly witnessed the comments, and the ire quickly spread. In order to prevent the season from ending, management had to call an emergency meeting because things got so heated. That is extensive damage control, not leadership. The squad did not come together in support of Reese, which is the most striking aspect of all. The notion that she was the issue brought them together.
The running three as time expires to give the Sky the lead at halftime.
Snoop with the takes. What a move from Courtney Vandersloot to give Chicago the 2-point edge. Major contributors this year. Here's one, Gabby Williams on the run, and the finish. Sloot with the pin-perfect pass. Here's Copper. Quick. Feeding Vandersloot. Gets hit hard. Body, bucket, and one.
Filling the lane where she's usually feeding, but filling the lane, get to the rim.
Rookies and bench components did not receive one of the most repulsive shots. Courtney Vandersloot was hit squarely by it. That's Courtney Vandersloot indeed. Champion twice, 5-time All-Star. The floor general has a master's degree in winning. She was dismissed by Reese as being too elderly to be relied on. At that age, we can't count on Corny to return.
Before this game started, Courtney Vandersloot getting her championship ring. A point guard on this squad a season ago tore her ACL in Chicago back in June, and back in the building. What a special moment, finally getting that championship.
Take a moment to process that. A legend with actual rings and records was challenged by a youngster with hardly a resume. Vandersloot wasn't the only veteran in the league to be affected by that insult. A point guard who has organized championships is not dismissed. That is not leadership. It is hubris. The twist is in here. Vandersloot departed Liberty, a championship-caliber club, to assist Chicago. That ought to have served as a focal point, but Reese's thoughtless remarks made it into a grenade. Chicago is currently engulfed in the repercussions after she pulled the pin herself. The problem here is that Reese is already the focal point of the Chicago Sky. To get Ariel Adkins, they had to give up Sonia Citron, a Rookie of the Year contender who became an all-star virtually overnight. Experience in a championship, actual points, presence of veterans, the precise profile that Reese stated she required. To demonstrate their belief in her, the front desk pushed all of their chips in the center. By bringing in Ariel Adkins to contribute scoring, seasoned expertise, and championship history, they gave Reese exactly what she said she needed. It was their method of saying, here is your leadership in the room, here is your assistance, and here is the blueprint for making this roster a contender. But Reese responded with yet another set of public demands, claiming it was still insufficient, rather than expressing gratitude or taking on a leadership position. Additionally, Reese's remarks did not stop with the veterans. The message that Haley Van Lift, Rachel Banham, and even Adkins herself weren't the type of players who could carry a playoff drive was conveyed to the younger core in the same contemptuous manner, and the effect was seen right away. Younger players felt marginalized, coaches were left to handle the tension, and veterans felt humiliated. Reese broke the roster rather than bringing it together. And the only thing the locker room appeared to have in common was the conviction that their so-called centerpiece was the thing preventing them from moving forward. Those remarks sparked a silent consensus rather than a rally. She is the problem, not us. No highlight reel or post-game statement can erase that mindset once it roots itself in a locker room. Wins depart immediately when trust departs. Everything fell apart for Reese at this point, since her 9th technical foul of the season resulted in an automatic suspension. There were no exceptions because the law is the norm. The timing is worse because this wasn't just a pointless game played on a calm Tuesday evening. It took place just before the highly anticipated game that the entire nation had been anticipating, the Chicago Sky versus Indiana Fever. Even though the league had prepared marketing for it, fans had organized road trips to witness it, and the excitement was so great that popcorn orders were prepared, Reese was able to steal the show on the biggest stage her team had.
Contact by Reese.
The whistle blew after Reese hit Aaliyah Edwards in the head during a rebound play. An automatic suspension and a place on the sidelines were the results of the 9th technical. It was a complete lack of discipline at the very moment her squad needed to maintain composure, not an injury or a lack of rest. It wasn't bad timing. Rather, it was poor decision-making that cost her the matchup the league had been building for weeks. The split screen reveals the truth in this situation. Caitlinclark was using patience and a paintbrush to renovate a franchise, while Reese was pulling the drywall off her own home.
Down behind the play, but they've got Caitlinclark. It's very coolly. Two players with incredible up. Caitlin again, she's calling for the ball from Cunningham.
Clark joined the league with the most attention we have seen in a long time. From day one, she handled everything like a pro. Every move was a headline. Every error was a segment. She applauded even when she was unable to play. On the bench, she prepared readings for her teammates. She publicly praised opponents. She maintained a comfortable temperature in her room.
Angel Reese not going to be in this one. She's played in 30 games, had 30 starts.
Yeah, there, Ariel Adkins sitting right next to her.
Yep.
That's another double-digit score, 13 points a game. Not able to play today.
Atkins was questionably out, the back injury as well.
Reese decided to stay at home after being hurt, which meant there was no glue to keep the team together. No steady voice for a youthful roster, and no soothing presence on bench. However, even when wearing a hoodie, Clark maintained her team's spirit. This disparity is more than just a small detail. It's a canyon. Every property demonstrates the difference. Aaliyah Boston plays freely and dominantly in the paint. Kelsey Mitchell confidently enters rhythm jumpers. Sophie Cunningham hits the corners just in time, and Clark is on the floor. Clark does more than just score. She changes the court's geometry so that everyone wearing her jersey can benefit.
Back in the W column. That's a big job, baby. Point guard.
The Indiana Fever has transformed from lottery rumors to a team that appears to be guaranteed a spot in the playoffs, with record attendance, sold-out crowds, and sponsors swarming back to join a franchise that feels revitalized. Chicago. In contrast, Sky appears to be a squad stuck playing whack-a-mole with ongoing issues, stumbling through a season with 10 wins and 30 losses that is full of drama, day and night. The question of whether the front staff regrets assigning a player who appears to be allergic to accountability to the rebuild is already being asked by fans. The harshest aspect is that the Sky occasionally appears better without her, because the ball travels more quickly, the defense speaks louder, the effort gets more focused, and the team succeeds. If the floor rises when you sit, you are the anchor rather than the engine. That is the definition of a franchise star in reverse.
I'm frustrated myself right now. I think the language is taken out of context, and I really didn't intentionally mean to put down my teammates because they've been through this with me throughout the whole year.
The question that will ultimately determine everything is if Angel Reese truly wants the position. Not the brand moments, not the camera riggers of serving as a franchise spokesperson. There were rumors that she skipped several trips to prevent further losses on the page, rather than to safeguard recovery. Clark took the opposite action. When there was nothing to gain from the box score, she arrived, taped up, and sat with her squad. One route fosters trust. It is emptied by the other. One franchise currently has a 5-year runway and a waiting list for season tickets. The other includes exit interviews, apology tours, and an increasing number of hypothetical scenarios. As Chicago is falling apart and Indiana is thriving, two celebrities who made two very different decisions while under the same spotlight are at the heart of both tales. While CaitlinClark asked for nothing and still gave everything a leader can give, presence, poise, and results, Angel Reese demanded more but gave less.
It won't go. Clark pulls it down, and this building knows what that means.
Kelsey Mitchell's going, what happened? Oh, it's a triple-double for Caitlin. What a reaction by Kelsey.
Caitlin Elizabeth Clark is one of the league's current stars. The astute teams will capitalize on this momentum, while the unyielding ones will resist and fall behind it. With each game, it becomes more evident that Chicago is struggling to paddle against the river, while Indiana is already keeping up with it. Steel is made by pressure, and Clark is using that pressure to construct a blueprint that might define the WNBA's next 10 years. Thus, this is the only query that is relevant right now. On whom would you construct? CaitlinClark, the baby goat, or Angel Reese, the newborn giraffe? Leave your response in the comments section. If you believe Chicago chose the incorrect star, hit the like button.